You are listening to the Angie Chu Podcast Radio Network.
I'm not sponsored, but gray matter, blue light glasses are really stylish and nice, and I like them. So buy them. Gray matter, sponsor me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bananas Toast Podcast, where we are recapping Season 1 of The Circle US. This is for Episode 9, Instant Block. And wow, it was an instant block. And without further ado, I'm one half of this podcast, the Angie Chu.
The other half of the podcast, everyone's favorite father figure, weird uncle, black truck driving, pancake loving, hot dog eating, looking into getting a sun hat because I feel like I should dress more like a dad at this point, or at least that's where my damn fashion sense is pointing me to, with sun hats and fanny packs and hockey jerseys. Papa D.
I mean, I support rocking the dad look. Like, even though you are favorite weird uncle for life, and you hope that there are no secret Papa Ds running around, like Papa D Juniors somewhere. You can't say that with 100% certainty. There could be one or two.
I can't. The only women I've ever done the deed with, there was no slippage. Okay, no. One had an IUD that didn't slip. The other, well, no, trust me, we are okay. Unless you get pregnant through the mouth, we're good.
As far as I know, no. I want to say with 100% certainty, no, but I know I would say that, and then someone in the comments would be like, well, actually, so I'm going to say with 99.9999999% certainty that you cannot get pregnant through the mouth, because I know when it comes to the bootay, it's basically a no unless something accidentally gets in the wrong spot. So, hey, we got sex ed in the first minute or two of this podcast.
Very true. Point is, no, there are no little D's running around that are biologically related to me. There are plenty of people named Little D, including a cartoon from the 90s called Little D, which was a heavy music thing. But point is, no, there are no Little D's running around here from your Papa D. I've spawned no children and never will.
You're doing your part.
Damn right.
So I had a brilliant revelation a couple hours ago. I just told Papa D right before we started recording. So we've been mentioning the past few weeks that season 37 of the challenge, for anyone who just happened to drop in on episode 9 right now, we started as a challenge podcast and dipped into the circle because Ed from this season is going to be on season 37 of the challenge, and I wanted to make sure Papa D got to know him and our listeners got to know him. But we've been realizing there would probably be some overlapping where the last few episodes of the circle overlap with the first few episodes of the challenge. And we'd have to figure out scheduling and all that. And the stars have aligned for something that will probably never, ever happen again. And it looks like there's only 12 episodes of season 1 of the US Circle, which means we will be recording the last one the week before the Challenge 37 airs. So there won't be any overlaps. I'm so relieved. I don't know how we planned this because, like, the last time we did something in hiatus, we had to, like, double team and, like, double, triple record stuff to get it done. So this is amazing. This is fun. For anyone who doesn't know, the trailer is up. It looks amazing. It's like the best trailer they've had probably since War of the Worlds 1, which was 4 seasons ago. Was it 4 or 5 seasons ago? I think it was 5. That sounds right. They're back in a warm climate. No more bunkers. No more hidden away on buses in the cold. These people can get in their bikinis. We're seeing fights. We're seeing the best CT has looked since Rivals 2. This man turns 41 tomorrow. And he looks just as good as he did in his 20s right now. He is in shape. He is a threat. I swear, if these people let this man get to a final again, they deserve to lose all the money. And we've got some romance. So, it's no longer a spoiler because it's in the trailer. At some point, Casey and Nani have finally gotten together. according to their social media, but they're making out in the trailer. We also have Amanda back, and for whatever reason, she's making out with Fessy in the trailer. But that's another story for another day. But I'm super pumped for this season. Like, I'm pumped to finish the circle on time and then to immediately kick into gear with the Challenge 37.
Boo Fessy every day, all day, twice on Sundays. I can't do it with them. Oh my God, no Fessy, like, oh, ugh.
I mean, my hope is that he irons himself out, because when you look at most of the villains of the challenge who started neutral or good and turned into a villain, they have 1 or 2 seasons of being extremely annoying because they're trying to figure out that persona. They're trying to figure out that villain status. And so they become enemy number 1 for a bit until they get in their groove. And my hope is that since last season was Fessy's first villain attempt, that it goes better for him this time around. Maybe we'll get to like villain Fessy, and hopefully it's this season, so I don't have to dislike him for an entire second season. But if not, hopefully he'll keep working on it.
Okay, and I want to correct myself. I kept thinking of Josh. That's my bad. So boo Josh. Okay, Fessy making out with somebody. Okay, no. Okay, not worried about that. I got them confused because they're just both big, tall, brown men. One has more hair than the other. But yeah, basically, Fessy, I did remember, what was it? Fessy coming back this season, all I'm thinking is, okay, dude, this is your chance. You better prove yourself. You wrote a big check this last episode of this last season, especially during the finale, just being a complete utter big bitch. This is your redemption season. You need to make shit work or don't come back here, because there is absolutely no point. Because again, he's wrote a check that he's better than CT. He talked a bunch of shit, and then at the end the final, he shit the bed. And make no mistake, Casey busted up her knee. Fessy's the reason they lost. We're gonna call, and again, I say that now, and I say that till the end of time. Fessy gave up long before Casey did. Casey would have ran that bitch, and you know what? Maybe they would have gotten eliminated at the next parter, and I doubt they wouldn't have won first. I doubt they would have been able to do that entire Mountain Hike, and I understand that fully. But Casey was willing to pull that shit, and then on the on the reunion, you can't even sit here and say I was doing it for Casey. Lie a little bit. Do something to make. I knew Casey wasn't going to quit. He was my best friend out there. There's something more important than money. And so, yes, I made that hard call. So I shit the bed. I literally didn't eat anything. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to let Casey bust her knee and cripple herself trying to win some money. Or better yet, just to literally for us to get in third place for what respect and all this shit. I care about my friend. You can't even give us that. A measly attempt to redeem. No, it's just literally, yeah, I knew we weren't going to win, so I didn't even want to try. And you are a quitter. And make no mistake, I know I don't want to do that shit, but if I'm doing anything like that, I'm busting my ass to get through it. And I'm not stopping until the judges tell you to stop. That's how you get everywhere you need to get in life. You don't stop no matter the odds until literally there's no chance of you winning, and they tell you have to. And so make myself like, oh my God, get back into that.
I will say, on our last note for the challenge before we jump into the circle, I'm curious to see how this season's going to go for Casey, because Casey has been, such a natural athlete, like a woman who played, pro women's football for a few years. And, she's made to the final easily, both of her seasons. But of course, last season ended with her blowing out her ACL. And she's already back. And it wasn't even like, a minor blow. It's like there were Instagram stories of her like having surgery and rehab and everything. And last season ended right around Halloween. This season started filming 6 months later. That's an extremely quick turnaround. Like if you watch wrestling, like pro wrestling, like we do, an ACL is a 9-month out injury. Like almost every single time you hear ACL, it's 9 months. And Casey's already back. Now I know she doesn't like re-tear her knee because she is walking around just fine and you know, her Instagram stories, you know, from the time they've been back from 37, which was a couple weeks ago. You know, which by the way isn't a spoiler. It seemed like almost all the cast stayed on site in Croatia. They all took this huge vacation together to Ibiza. So unless there were 20 people in the final, that's not a spoiler. They were just all in Ibiza. But Casey's fine. But but it's like I wonder how she did, because some of the older fans will remember Corey had a couple of rough seasons when he started, because right after his real world season he had to get ACL surgery, and so he had a hard time in some of the finals for, you know, Bloodlines especially. He had a little issue in Rivals 3. He didn't make the finals, but just competing because that knee was still healing. And it really took him until Invasion for it to be strong enough. So hopefully to Casey, things go well. Ditch Fessy's bitch ass. And I'm glad you got Nani.
Yep, well, we will see. But speaking of ditching people, we start with this episode with Sean ditching her fake persona. Sean reveals the truth to Sammy, Rebecca / Seaburn, and Chris in a private chat, and she sends them a photo of her real self, and they welcome and comfort her overall. They basically give her the strength to be like, hey, listen, welcome, I understand, it is what it is about catfishing, you were scared. She explains herself, and for the most part, they accept her. And so they say, like, okay, we're good, and it's a huge weight lifted off her shoulders for now. Again, emphasis on for now. And then after that, we get a little bit of cool down. Then alert, it's time to rate the players. In which case, these players are rating themselves.
There's so many alerts in a row, and they start so early in this episode. Like when you get an alert 5 minutes in, you know it's going to be a wild episode. But you know, everyone gets to rate except for Ed and Tammy. Because Ed just joined, so he can't rate, and he also can't be rated. As usual, I've written down the ones they show us. So Sammy puts Shooby first. Shooby puts Adam in third, and wait, I've messed up somewhere. No, Adam puts Shooby in third. Shooby puts Adam in fifth. Bill and Adam are rivals. We're throwing it back to the Joey Antonio rivalry. Now we got these two butting heads. They put each other in last place. Bill, on the other hand, put Sean in first, solidarity with the woman he came into this competition with. Sean puts Bill in second, so still a high rank. Chris loves Sean for, you know, coming out the way she did. He puts her in fourth because they hadn't really talked much, but he has so much respect for her. She's going to jump halfway up just for that. Sean loves Chris after that reveal where he was calling her gorgeous. He was empathizing because he used to be, you know, plus size and overweight. So he knows how it is to feel that way. And, you know, he was just being wonderful to her in the situation. So she puts him in first. Joey puts Chris in third place. Chris puts Joey in first place. Sammy also puts Joey in first place. Rebecca puts Sammy in second. And Sammy returns the favor by putting Rebecca in second. And Adam, whose persona is in love with Rebecca, who's also a persona, and he doesn't know it just yet, puts her in first. So we didn't get to see a lot of the low ratings. We only saw a few. We mainly saw who people were allied with this time around, which was interesting. We get to see who's buddying up with who. And they get no time to rest because as soon as the ratings are in, there's an immediate alert and they announced that they're gonna do the ratings right then, and the least popular player gets instantly blocked. Like, no discussion, no saying a word, no influencer input, just whoever's in last gets blocked. And so Seaburn gets his wish after being in third, day after day after day with this. Finally, Rebecca hits first place, and Seabird is just dancing around in the room. Shooby gets second. Shooby is still an influencer. Papa D and I were talking a little bit about this, before we started recording. It's the same sentiment as if these idiots let CT get to the final on season 37 again. They deserve to all lose. These people need to get rid of Shooby. I adore Shooby. And the problem is, so do they. And it's whoever gets the highest marks at the end wins. And we've seen Shooby go from dead last to a constant 1 or 2 every single week. So, yes, some people are putting him in middle tier, but the rest are putting him in upper tier, and no one's ranking him low. And so Shooby, they need to watch out for Shooby. They need to watch for Shooby, because Shooby is a threat to all of their money right now. Chris gets third, Joey gets fourth. I say this every week. Chris and Joey don't really change much. They always come in around this spot. Between third, fourth, and fifth place is where they always end up. With rare occasions they get to the top, but usually people put them there. Sammy's in fifth. She's relieved because Sammy knows, unlike Chris and Joey, her ratings have fluctuated all over the place, and she's like, this could be my week to be in last, and I don't want that to happen. So then we get down to Sean, Adam, and Bill, and these are all of the people that aren't OGs, and they're scared because they realize the 5 OGs have taken the top 5 spots. They're safe, they're allied, and it's the newbies. So in 6th place, we have Sean, and she is so relieved, that the people she opened up to basically saved her, and she admits that. She knows, by being one of the newest and having not talked to a lot of people, if she hadn't reached out to Rebecca and Shooby and Chris, she would most likely be the one going home. But she knows they probably ranked her higher because they're so proud of her, and it's true. So then it's Adam versus Bill, and apparently the circle just left them on read for like minutes and to draw out the attention. But finally we see that Adam gets 7th and Bill is going home, and Bill is salty.
Okay, let me tell you something about Bill. Bill got so much salt coming off of him. McDonald's French fries ain't got nothing on Bill right now. Okay, Bill is salty, just literally saying, I went in this trying to build genuine connections, and I didn't work. Everyone was just being fake nice and everything. And I'm like, no, let me tell you what didn't work, Bubba. You came in late. That's all this is. It's the 5 original people in this house who've been here the longest versus everybody the hell else. And so, yes, they save each other. They've been through the most with each other. They know each other the most. To where you rolled in, and if this would have been another week or something, or you would have been having a chance to really get to know them and build that genuine connection like you were doing, you would have been fine. Problem is, you just didn't have enough time to build that connection. You came in late, and by the time you came in, everybody else had already solidified. And so when it came down to this, you got put dead last because people just didn't have the connection that they need with you. So it's just one of those things where it's like, bro, let it go. It ain't that bad. You're okay. But at the same time, like, no, he is legitimately just salty. Okay, he's so salty, you could float on him if he was a pool. So much salt, you're not sinking to the bottom. It's like that weird salty beach sea that everyone says, if you go there, you can float. It's impossible to drown. I don't believe it, despite physics. I'm still like, fear still will grip me. But still, like, that is how salty this dude is.
Now, one thing I have to wonder is, because with reality TV, you never know if it's just someone is boring on camera or if it's, the producers don't like them. I feel like we didn't get to know Bill, and I know he wasn't around for very long, but Alana, episode 1 and a little bit of 2, I felt like we got to know her more than Bill, with all of like, I'm more than just a model and a pretty blonde and stuff. Sean's new, but she's gotten a lot of stuff so far. All we know about Bill is he's like a version of Adam that's an actual version, and he likes to work out, and all the guys go, bro. And there's other people like for instance, the first person out in season 2 of The Circle, I feel like I know that person more than Bill. Like, I don't know if Bill got a bad edit or if Bill not only didn't build connections with anyone, but he just like sat reading books or something. Like, he's the one person where I know he's there, but I usually forget his name. When I think like who was in season 1, it's like, oh, and that one dude that was really pissy when he got voted off. That's how I always remember him, unless I'm actively watching it. So, I always say a disclaimer when we talk negatively about people in reality TV that we're going on what we know of what they appear like on TV and not their real life personas.
Okay.
But Bill, I don't know what to say, bro. Like, you did not translate well. I hope you get another shot at reality TV at some point. We were saying how he would be a good, asset to the challenge because they need salty people willing to just speak openly and who are in shape. And he's one of those people. So maybe he'll get a call. But I don't know what happened. I don't know if production didn't like him or if he's just a boring man.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, if you call boring sitting in your bed just reading a book boring, then
Well,
yeah,
for reality TV.
then yes, he is boring because that's what he was doing. He was just sitting in his bed reading a book, chilling halfway through this episode before all this BS happened. But this isn't over because they get another alert. Alert, alert. Blocking.
Everyone's like peeing themselves in agony. Alert, alert. And it just honestly says the blocking is not over. And everyone's like, and now it's a normal scenario where even though they just lost Bill, Rebecca and Shooby have to select a player to block alongside Bill. So they go up to their little hangout, and almost immediately they rule out Chris, Joey, and Sammy. They don't even really discuss those 3. So again, the alliance of the 5 OGs is in full swing. And at this point, the remaining, other people need to not only stop letting Shooby get influencer, but they got to break this up somehow. Like, these 5 are just protecting each other to no end. Where it's not even a discussion of cons. It's just, okay, bye. And so then we just discuss, Adam and Sean, because Ed isn't eligible and Bill just got voted off the island. So Rebecca, aka Seaburn, says Adam is 100% genuine, lol. But he uses the fact that Rebecca has feelings for him to his advantage, and you have to have more substance than that. And Shooby agrees. He's like, I think, Adam really does care for you, Rebecca. LOL. I have a lot of lulls all over my notes for this episode.
As you should.
Because it's a tale of 2 catfishes.
Exactly. It's like genuinely cares for you and everything stand for as we look at the man pretending to be his girlfriend, flirting with this dude who's pretending to be another dude who aggressively flirts and does it badly. We're gonna come back to that. This is the only time I'm gonna say redemption points for Alex/Adam. But anyway, basically what ends up happening is they go back and forth, and Rebecca/Seabird just defends Sean like she is brave and beautiful and genuine. But and only the negative Shooby thing I have to say about her is he doesn't have a connection with her because they don't talk that much, in which case that's understandable. So basically, Shooby puts it in Rebecca/Seaburn's hands, and Seaburn is just sitting here almost in tears or practically in tears, being like, I gotta send one of these 2 people home. and he was just literally like, "This is the hardest decision I've had to make to date." But the person we're sending home is dun 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 Adam. And I'm like, yes, because you're not sending that big girl home after she just poured her heart out to you. You got that level of cold into you. This ain't the challenge. This ain't real love. This ain't season 2. No, this is one of those, like, she just poured her heart out to you and came clean about being a catfish and addressed her insecurities about being overweight and wanting people to be nice to her. You're not sending her home now because then you are everything this woman hates about society at that point. You want that on your soul? Of course he didn't. So that's why he literally saved her and sent home Adam slash Alex. And so he gets blocked, but don't worry, because there's a third mother loving alert, which is crazy.
Oh yeah. So, Shooby feels it was the wrong move. And I feel like that's the sentiment because like a lot of the group liked Adam. Like some people did not. They didn't like his arrogance, but they're surprised that, and Rebecca as an influencer allowed this to happen and was the one who spoke it. And like Ed and Tammy are like, oh my God, she's heartless. But there's an alert, and Adam gets to meet one player before he leaves. And again, I have to wonder, did production just hate Bill? Because why doesn't Bill get to meet a player? Like, did Bill meet someone and it was just left on the cutting room floor? Like, and they just didn't put any confessionals or anything about someone, like Bill meeting someone? Or is he just blocked? Like, did he pull a Camilla and steal a golf court and punch someone and call them the N-word and he's been blacklisted? But whatever the case, we don't see Bill meet anyone, but we do get to see Adam. Surprise, surprise. He's going to go see Rebecca. And he is so nervous because, of course, it's Alex and not really Adam. And he's like, I wonder how she's going to take this. And Seaburn's just like, please don't be me. Please don't be me. And then Seaburn hears his door open. And he's like, oh, shit. But then instead of Rebecca and Adam, they realize it's Seaburn and Alex. And they were just both so relieved. You can see the stress melt off these men. They give each other a big hug. They're laughing. Seaburn admits, Rebecca's my girlfriend. I'm just playing her. It was weird flirting to you as her. And, Alex, as Poppity said, I'll give Alex some points here. This is the only likable episode I've had for this man because he's relaxed. He's more of himself. And, kind of like we've been speculating, he's like, I've been with my wife for 11 years, only married for a few months, but with her, I've been out of the dating world for a long time. I don't know how to flirt. I'm sorry if it came off a little aggressively, but I'm relieved that you're not really this pretty girl who's now very upset by my actions. And they give each other so many hugs and fist bumps. Seaburn admits that Sammy told on Adam for being too like obnoxious and playing the field and too aggressive. And it's a relief because we saw just a couple of episodes ago a really awkward flirting session, and I'm just kind of relieved it didn't go further than that. It didn't leave PG-13 land, or else this happy bro moment probably would not have happened the same way.
Very true. Very, very true. But in which case, I just want to point out, he was like, I'm going to meet somebody. I want to dress very nicely for this. And the dude comes out in a purple tie-dye shirt, overalls, and then sandals. Not flip-flops, legitimate heel-hooked sandals rolling. And I'm like, get out. I'm sorry, dog. No, I am all about comfort chic, but no, don't you sit here and tell me I'm rolling in this piece like just super nice. You can do better than looking like a hippie weed farmer who plays D&D on the weekends with a loaded shotgun, waiting to shoot somebody trying to steal his pot. No, okay, absolutely not. Just no, sir. Rebecca deserved better.
Rebecca did deserve better. I still wish I haven't found anything. I wish I could find like just commentary of Rebecca watching these episodes. I would love that. But the catfishes leave on good terms. It's finally time to sleep. There's no more alerts. Sean reflects on how opening up tonight definitely saved her butt. And the question from last episode is answered. Ed and Tammy do indeed have separate rooms, and Ed has the bed he broke within 30 seconds of entering the apartment. So he and Tammy not only don't have to share a bed, they don't have to share a room. They've got completely different rooms, even though they are playing one character.
Dope. And yes, so in which case, with Ed and Tammy, they're just sitting here commentating on everybody. But the next day, Sean basically reviews and changes her photos to her real self for the entire house to see. And then she basically just leaves it up there for everyone to look at and doesn't say anything for a minute. Then it's like, it's time to talk to everyone. Then Sean messages everybody and she basically explains how, so I'm a plus size girl and I work for a plus size clothing company and I'm their head of social media basically for that. And just as literally like I did this because I wanted you guys to be nice and I thought I'd go farther in this game as this skinny model looking chick rather than my real self. Despite that most people are saying her real self look good, I can say she can pull off some polka dots. It's one of those things like she's got a pumpkin booty and I want her to just smother me in that pumpkin pie. I'm not ashamed of that. In which case, I'm like, just okay. Okay, I'm willing because yeah, I like thick women. I'm willing to lift that fupa to eat that chalupa. I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever, and you shouldn't be ashamed either. Most women are overweight or a little thick. There's no shame in that. Embrace your curves. Believe me. There's this TikTok I keep seeing of trust me. Just because you're not what society deems a 10 doesn't mean you ain't invited to the pipe show. Everybody, there's a site for everybody of people trying to hit who just want a shot at eating your pumpkin pie, and they will smother themselves with it. Okay, make no mistake. You can have the body of a 6, but somebody of a body between a 5 and an 8, but have a personality of an 11. And guess what? People 9 times out of 10 who aren't shallow fucking assholes, they're gonna pipe that fucking 5 through 8 down instead of the 10. Also, because 5s and through 8s will bang you back. Okay? So no, it's completely okay. The point is, everyone for the most part handles it well. Ed and Tammy, I think everyone's being fake. But they're fake too. They said they're fake too. We're just gonna play along like, okay.
I'll say Tammy wants to be snarky about it, and Ed shuts her down and says, "No, we're gonna be fake with the love and positivity." So Tammy woke up choosing violence, which we're going to continue seeing from this woman as long as she's on the show. And Ed's just like, no, Mom, I'm trying to win money. God, like, we have to be nice to her. So, everyone's nice. I'd say the meanest actually is Shooby. And Shooby's not that mean. It's like disappointed dad, Shooby, pretty much, where it's like, I'm proud of you from coming out, but I'm sad that you hid yourself from us and thought we would judge you because we're not like that. So don't do it again, basically. And I just want to say, pure innocent Shooby, I know you wouldn't judge someone, but unfortunately, a lot of society would judge, this woman for being her plus size self instead of skinny little Colleen. And good on you, Shooby, but do realize some people are jerks.
Yes, but at the end of the day, Shooby doesn't see that. Shooby can acknowledge that, but at the end of the day, Shooby's not worried about that. Shooby's like, I'm not angry, like, well, you're big, and that's fine. I'm angry or upset that literally I hate being lied to, which he does. He hates being lied to, he hates being manipulated. So it's one of those things where it's like he wishes he would have been upfront with him from the start about it. I get that, but at the same time, yes, Shooby needs to understand she did it because, and he kind of does. He acknowledges and does understand. I get it outside of here, but that's not what this place is. She doesn't know that, dude. wasn't here the first week with the other 7 people that were in the house with you. Okay, she came in late with a bunch of OGs and a bunch of regular people who'd already been in here and formed a bond. So she wanted to get a leg up. I don't blame her for that, and Shooby ultimately doesn't either. He just hated being lied to, which I can understand. But
it makes me giggle though, because he keeps being like, I hate being lied to. I love Rebecca, and I'm just like,
yeah, shout out to Rebecca, and then always just all the producers and camera crew need to do is just show Rebecca's face, and like it's just Seaburn sitting there in a like aquamarine do rag, just being like, "What's up?" Just sitting there with the bear on the couch, being like, "Hello," and just like, "Wow, bro, you are gonna hate this dude when you're done." But after this and everybody dies down, we get some goodbye messages. We get a goodbye message from Bill, who basically just rolled up and is still salty as hell, and is still sitting here making sure everybody's floating in the sea of salt that he is literally laying down, telling everybody it was fake. This show is fake. All of you were fake. I tried to build genuine connections. Didn't work. And it's just one of those things like he is spiteful and he is just, now everyone's surprised to see him being him. Like it's him. Oh, you actually look like this. That's kind of dope. But then just that spiteful personality came out to where it's like, oh my God. And then like everybody's just like, well, fuck you, dude. And like even Chris is like, I'm not being fake. I don't know who in this house think is fake. I'm not being fake. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, he's salty because he stayed here for about a week, less than a week, a couple days, and then was like, I'm going the fuck home. Fuck y'all. And it's just one of those things.
yeah, it's like at first I was thinking like maybe he did see someone and they cut it out, and that's why he's even more mad about people being fake. But other than Tammy being there too, so I don't think he would have called it fake if he'd gone to see Ed and Tammy, because Ed's actually himself. The only halfish is Rebecca, and we know he didn't see Rebecca because Alex went to see Seaburn. So I think Bill just got screwed and didn't get to see anyone, or maybe he just didn't want to, and he's just upset.
That's more likely. I feel like it's one of those things. He was salty, and also it's one of those things like who would he want to see? The House voted him dead last at this point. Yeah, the House basically, as an average, voted him dead last. There was no point in him seeing anybody, and he also wasn't here long enough to make a connection to where it's like, is there a point of him going to see anybody?
I feel like the only person he might have went to see is Joey, because he got along with Joey. But I mean, he could tell Joey had much better connections with pretty much the rest of the house. So.
Correct. And also, let's just remember, nobody in the house knew these ratings were going to cause somebody to go home immediately. Everyone in the house just rating people to be like, who do I want to be an influencer? Who's going to keep me around and keep me safe? In which case, it's just one of those things where unfortunately they decided to flip the script and send that person who was lowest ranked home. So it's one of those things where it's like he's salty, but it's he's salty for the wrong reasons. And then we get another goodbye video, and we get one from Adam/Alex, in which case they play the video and they reveal what he looks like. The house is shook on a spiritual level. Sammy is on the ground, just flabbergasted, like, oh no. And then like Joe is like, what the fuck? And like just everybody's not upset, just shook, like catfished. No. He admits he was wrong to catfish, which I do like. He owns up to that, and he apologizes for the bad flirting and aggressive flirting that he did, which I can say is the only redeeming thing about this dude. Like, I've been with my girl for 11 years and I've been married for 3 months. I don't know how to date. You know what? Fine. I can accept that. For the love of God, next time do your damn research. I'm not asking you to flirt like you would but flirt like the guy you're trying to be. Okay, real talk. If I'm going on this show as a catfish, I'm either going on there just going the complete 180 of being just a brunette woman named Becky, or I'm honestly thinking about this. I'd catfish as my roommate Kendall. I truly would just be a bearded white dude from Kentucky. Except I'd emphasize the Kentucky traits. I would talk about how I love wearing flannel, like wearing baseball caps and camo, rocking my blue jeans. Just got through doing yard work and mowing the lawn. Hashtag homeowner life. And then when I'm done here, I like to go over to to Knob Creek, shoot some guns and ride four wheelers. But I'm not racist though. Here's my black roommate and my black friend. What's up, dude?
See, I'm thinking about it. I feel like I'd be myself, but I'd be like my Angie Chu anime convention persona, where it's just like constant, okay, hi. Like I'm just like basically on a pixie stick level for an entire week. And if any of you guys have met me at conventions pre-COVID, I'd probably just be that, which is just like a more exaggerated version of my actual personality. I feel like that's what I do. But one thing to note is Alexson read out Seaburn. You know, we saw Antonio throw a hint that Karen, aka Mercedes, was not who she said she was.
Yo.
And in season 2, literally every time someone met up with a catfish, they added in a line and stirred the pot. So people were like, well, who met up with this person? Who's the catfish? And you know, Alex doesn't mention anything about who he met and just wishes everyone good luck and that he loves everyone. And so this leads everyone to believe that Rebecca is a real person, and that she must be heartbroken. And
Yes.
by Bill's response, they think Bill must have gone and seen someone and they were fake. So they're trying to figure out who's a catfish, but it can't be Rebecca, even though Rebecca is the only catfish. And I love this show. And, you know, Rebecca, like Seaburn has Rebecca be heartbroken,
Yes.
and everyone's throwing out sympathy, except for
Yes.
Ed, who
Yep.
somehow has realized something is not right. Like Ed starts spouting out stuff, and sometimes you just get that vibe. And I feel like since Ed's new and he doesn't know this, who he perceives to be a woman, he's just seeing everything like fresh. Something that Seaburn is doing is blowing his cover. And Ed is just calling it out left and right. Like, she's not really sad. She's just milking this for sympathy. She's probably sitting on the couch and smirking, and Seaburn was. And you know, I'm just getting catfish vibes. We're getting played. And I'm like, Ed, you I didn't peg you to be smart, but apparently you are.
I don't think he's smart. I think he's suspicious, and I think honestly it's one of those things. Because let's not forget, he's accusing everybody in this house of being fake. So I don't think it's one of those things like I don't think it's one of those things where he's slowly sussing stuff out. I think it's one of those things where he thinks everyone's being fake. It's just a question of how fake. And so he's just throwing out this theory of, you know what? I bet she's a catfish too. I don't think she's real just because, and she's just getting sympathy from this dude because like he's a catfish and stuff along those lines. So it's one of those things where we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, like Ed's just starts going in and being salty, and I'm just like, I don't feel. It's one of those things where I just feel like he thinks everyone is fake. I think honestly, but he's honestly under the assumption everybody's a catfish in this house except him, and he's not. Well, he's not a catfish. He's here with his damn mom. So it's like he's not a catfish, but at the same time, it's like you got secrets too, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, his mom, just from these couple of episodes, I'm like, you woke up and just like, me and his mom are not getting along at all.
His mom, I mentioned briefly, you know, when they debuted that I don't mind Ed. I felt like I didn't really get to know Ed much in the circle. I got to know more from his social media after. Because when I found out he's the one they cast on the challenge, I'm like, why? And so I started following him and I was like, oh yeah, he seems like a good fit. But Tammy, I'm not a fan of Tammy. A lot of Reddit apparently is not as well. We even see just some of the initial kind of snark towards Sean she was going to do, but there's some things that she does in future episodes where I just am not a fan of this woman. But but yeah, it's we basically end the episode on that note, where everyone's like, poor Rebecca, except the Eastons, and they're like, oh, we got to get rid of Rebecca.
Pretty much. Don't blame him, because at this point, if you're getting a lot of sympathy in this house, she's playing strategically. He knows emotion is running this game, and if you get a lot of emotion, especially if the house is for you and stuff along those lines, for nothing you've done. For example, Rebecca didn't choose this. Rebecca, like, Adam slash Alex laid it on thick for her, and now that he's a catfish, they're just like, I'm so sorry, Rebecca. And it's like, and he's just like, no, I gotta get this chick out, because she's just stopping this up. She's literally just here, stopping this up, doing what she has to do to stay in this game, and he's not down for it. And all I can say is, he's not wrong. Not about the catfish part, but just about strategically speaking. No, she's your biggest threat right now, because she's somebody who's been here a while. She's already got alliances that you're not a part of. In which case, no, she is your biggest threat. And honestly, all I thought was, so Rebecca slash Seaburn just bought herself another week or few days in this house. Nobody's sending her home at this point, or even ranking her at the bottom, just because it's like, bro, you just got your heart broken by a catfish. Nobody wants that. Seaburn damn sure didn't want that, treating her like a big sister. Good God. If there's a reunion show or anything, it's what I need to see the reaction of just Seaburn meeting this woman, meeting her, and just being like, you're a dude. And it's like, yeah, man. Hi. Hey, bro. You're real. Okay. I'm so sorry, dog. Like, I really am. Oh, God. But yeah, like I said, that's like Angie said, that's the end of the episode, in which case we're just waiting for stuff to happen now. Like, no more players are coming in, like Angie said, and they're knocking people off left and right. So now it's just a matter of just who's staying in. I'm calling it right now. Shooby is the CT of this show. If he makes it to the final episode, he's taking this money, especially if it's a bunch of people voting on who should get this money, and it can't be them. And it's just one of those things like, if you can't win this money, who do you want this money to go to? Damn near everyone's gonna say Shooby or Chris if they're in this house, just because it's like, bruh, he's a genuine kind person who isn't trying to flirt or make anyone feel uncomfortable. So as far as ladies go, Sammy is perfectly happy with him, as she should be, because he hasn't tried to flirt with her once. He's genuinely tried to reach out to her, connect with her, just talk with her as another human being and as a friend. And so it's just one of those things, like, right now, if they don't get Shooby home within the next 2 episodes, he's winning his money. I'm calling that right now. They'll send him home with this money, because it's literally just, if it can't be me, who do I want this money to go to? Shooby. Joey is a great dude, but he's kind of a tool. Sammy is nice, but at the same time, just kind of withdrawn, and also just frankly hates the gushy love stuff. Ed just moved in. Um, Technically speaking, Sean can cash in on some sympathy points regarding, her transformation. But at the end of the day, that's not gonna get her everything she needs. And Chris is a gay pastor, in which case he's cool and he's authentic as hell, and he's really the only one at this point in this house that has a shot at taking him down. Because at this point, you're not, since the OGs outnumber the newbies, the OGs aren't sending the money home with a newbie, no matter what the hell they learn about them. Honestly, it's going to come down for me between Chris and Shooby, and it's who do you want this money to go to? and that's the only way Shooby loses. Because I feel like Chris is going to, since he's a pastor, is going to donate part of the money to the church or to just help people in the LGBTQ plus community to provide safe haven for them or a place for them to come out and be accepted and be around people like them in that society in a positive environment.
I can't comment on your thoughts because of course that would be a spoiler since I've seen this. But I will say good analysis. I enjoyed your analysis. But the overlying thing that I can't say without giving anything away is yes, that alliance needs to be broken up. And what would be great, except these people are all brand new to reality TV, so they're very green, is you would need to see something happen like what you see on The Challenge or Vanderpump Rules or any of these shows where people come back over and over and over and over. So they're basically like just experienced reality TV players. Yep. You've got to find a way to stir the pot and cause a fight in the main alliance and break that alliance because things move so fast, especially in this show. It's like every day is an episode. So it's not even like with The Challenge, you've got 3 days to try to keep up the animosity for your strategy to work. With this, it's just, do you still hate them the next day? Okay, cool. Someone has to drive that wedge and just cause some kind of like if they can, seeing how Shooby reacted, if they could get in Shooby's head, like if Ed could get in Shooby's head and be like, I think Rebecca's a catfish and here's why. Like that's the kind of magnitude you need to just divide that alliance and break it up, and then everyone's going to lose some of their ratings and it becomes anyone's game at that point. But we'll see how they play. We'll see how they do.
We will. In the meantime, we got the new season of The Challenge coming out. Everyone's seen the trailer, in which case we're all excited. I am especially. It's gonna be lit. There's gonna be lots of stuff. Apparently, they broke them up into country teams, like Germany, Nigeria, all this other stuff, which is gonna be cool. Nom Nom is back. That's what I'm here for. I'm like, okay, I need Nom Nom to do well. I need Nom Nom to, I need to see more Nom Nom on this point. And he's not with the Olympian, which is unfortunate because, again, God, they could have had super children. That's the only time when I look at this and, if she lost her V card to him and then literally ended up getting pregnant, that's the only time I feel like you can name your child Alpha and it'd be completely understandable. Beastmaster Nom Nom and then Olympian Beastmaster freaking I forgot her name.
Lolo Jones.
Lolo Jones. Oh my God. That is the only time you can name your child Alpha. Just because those two super athletes will make a super baby. It's like, your name is Alpha. Why? Because you're amazing. And you are an alpha competitor. You came from two alpha parents. We didn't make a beta. We made an alpha. And we'll call you Al for short, but make no mistake, you are an alpha. And you will run these streets.
What we could do really quick, because we finished this episode early, like we're hitting just under an hour, which, I mean, fans know sometimes, especially with The Challenge, we can go almost 3 hours with our podcast. And I was wondering, did we want to do a cast reveal, like a quickie? Some podcasts do a quick cast reveal, and sometimes they deep dive the rookies. Most don't. But I was like, I wonder if we could fit that on the schedule. But what we could do is take, as long as you don't have anything to do, Papa D, we could take 10 minutes and go through at least the ones we know. So anyone listening, if you don't care about The Challenge, this is where you kind of piece for next week. And then I can clip this out and repost it again right before the season starts. I'd be fine to do that.
Sure, we can. From the previews I've seen, Corey's back. He's looking like a beast with cut hair. Anissa's back, but she looks like she's got her arm in a sling and is fucked up.
I've got the whole cast list.
Of course you do.
We can. I was gonna say we can tell who they're positioning to be the new face of the challenge. I was mentioning that with Johnny on like a semi-permanent retirement where he knows it's the best spot for him to retire right now with how Total Madness ended, and he wants to get in on that All Stars 2. Plus, he's got like his 2 TV shows of his own now. They need a replacement Bananas. And I figured it'd be someone in the banana boat, one of his high tier members, but you know, Nani is Nani, and Leroy retired, and that leaves Kyle. And I feel MTV is thinking the same way, because at the very top of Meet the Cast of season 37 is Mr. Kyle Christie, who was also featured. Yeah, he was featured so heavily in the trailer too. So I think MTV knows this guy is gold. You know, people love him. He's, you know, a big player in all the seasons. He's got potential to win. He's about to be a dad, so you've got the aw factor as well. But yeah, Kyle is back. Definitely a major player. I adore this man. I've loved him since he started on Vendettas, and he's only gotten better with age. Not just in looks, but in terms of TV. Super excited to see this man back. Hopefully, he can finally get his win. He keeps getting to finals or almost finals. He needs to get that W.
Very true. You're right. He was heavily featured, and you got some of the people I just mentioned, including Anissa's back. And I'm sorry, I need Anissa to go home and stop doing. Here's the thing. I have no issue with her coming and doing this unless she bitches about making a final. You made it into a final with a bunch of all-stars who were your damn age, and you did horrible. Because you can't even admit this, you can't run a mile. I can't either, so I'm not judging you for that. I'm judging you for getting on this show when you can't run a damn mile. It's like, stop. It's just, oh my God.
It's like, I don't want it to be seen as body shaming, because like Anissa is a curvier woman and she's older. She's about to hit 40, I think, next year. But looking at how she did on season 36 and looking like how she did in the All Stars 1 finale, and knowing that this filmed like 3 months after the All Stars 1 finale, and seeing her appearance and that nothing muscular wise has shifted on this woman, I still don't think she can run a quarter mile. And again, if she just wants to be on for her check, that's cool. But I don't want to hear the Anissa sob story this season again of like, no one respects me. And like Papa D said, we've already seen her injured in a sling, you know, in the trailer. So things are not boding well for Anissa right now.
It's not. And here's the thing. No, it's not. Believe me, I'm not body shaming. I don't have room to body shame. I'm too fat. I'm pushing 230, 240, and I'm 5'9", I'm 5'9.5", 5'10". If I go to a doctor, he's going to say I'm morbidly obese, apparently. And believe me, that keeps me up at night at times. Not enough to stop eating horribly, but still it does keep me up at night. So make no mistake, I'm not body shaming, but at the same time, it's one of those things. You're not body shaming somebody who just performance-wise isn't backing up what they should be or isn't doing well. And then when you know, just because I'm not basing it off her body, I'm basing it off her performance. Her performances have been consistently bad to where nobody wants to partner with her. And then you have nerve enough to say, like, everybody wants to get her gone because they don't want to take a chance that you will have to run a final with her. Even if you're able to switch partners, you still want to win. And you know, worst case scenario, if you get her on that last day, whatever lead you may have is blown because this shit can't run. It's not even like, oh, she's too heavy or ankle. No, it's because she's proven she can't run a mile. She has proven this on a consistent basis, and her performance in All Stars proved that as well, where she got what she wanted. She made that final, and she ran that damn final, and she did horribly. So no, there's no body shaming here. This is performance-wise. The odds are not in her favor whatsoever. Now, yes, it would be different if, you know what, 3 months later, she showed up. She cut a shit ton of weight. She has abs, and she's just basically, even either cut weight or just shifted and just turned a lot of muscle. Just went into the gym, bench pressed like a beast, worked on cardio, clanged and banged, did what she needed to do. Bum ankle be damned, she sucked it up and said, screw it. My mind is stronger than my body, and I am not going to give this up. But she didn't. Like, let me rephrase that. It doesn't look like she did. And you know what? I'll admit this. Yes, MTV put her in a cast, and so automatically on a preview. So it's one of those things, probably a red herring. But I'm still gonna say this. It's one of those things where I don't want to hear her bitching about not making a final on a damn challenge, a daily challenge. And when you can go on record and on camera saying, you know what, I didn't really try that hard today because I knew I wasn't gonna win. I didn't need to. And it's like, no, I don't want to hear that. Don't sit here and tell me that and then bitch that you can't make a final. No, that attitude is what makes it where you can't make a damn final. Everyone's banged up, everyone's sore. You need to go in to get power and to make sure you win, to make sure they stop sending your ass in the two episodes before the damn end of the show and going into a final. But at the same time, you can't, because you can't run a damn mile. And that's half of what this show is. That's just what it is. And again, I can't run a mile. I will admit that to the 100 to the 40 to the between 40 and 100 people who listen and review this show. I will admit this. I can't run a mile at 31 years of age. Guess what? I'm not on here trying to get in a physical competition with anybody where that shit's required. I know my damn role, and I'm staying in my damn lane. To where Anissa, it's just one of those things. If you, like Angie said, if you're coming here to get a check, great. If this is how you make a good living, I don't blame you. Because yes, you get to go to an exotic location, compete, argue with a bunch of people, drink a shit ton, party, dance, and then do a bunch of stunts that you'd never be able to do on your own. This is great, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that. And you get paid for it. You literally get paid for it. That is a dream job. Do not bitch about pride or making it to a final when you can't run a mile. Don't do that. You cheapen yourself, you cheapen this entire show, and you frankly just embarrass your damn self. Do what you gotta do, make it as far as you can make it, and be who you are. But damn sure don't complain about not making it to a final when you got your wish and couldn't finish the damn thing. When you made it to All-Stars with people on the same age and level as you, and people who damn near weren't expecting to even be on a show like this that season, and just showed up without really any prep time. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I'm sure, unfortunately, we'll have more. I hope we don't, but I'm sure with Anissa, there's at least one or two more coming this season. But on the flip side of Anissa is someone who made the most of a devastating situation last season. Casey is back. We were just discussing while recording, the circle portion that we're doing for the podcast about Casey, and wondering how she's going to do. Of course, she ended 36 with blowing out her ACL. Normally, that's like a 9-month recovery. If you are a wrestling fan, like Papa D and I, and you hear someone's torn their ACL, it's a 9-month out. My thought was, maybe it wasn't that bad, but this woman on her Instagram, she had like full surgery and rehab. So yeah, it was bad. And between the end of 36 and the start of 37 was 6 months. So I'm wondering, because Casey's such a good athlete, how she's going to do this season. She doesn't seem to have gotten re-injured this season, so that's a good thing. But, looking back at former seasons, someone like Corey, who had ACL surgery and then went on Bloodline shortly thereafter in Rivals 3, it took him a couple of years to get in his groove and let that knee heal. So I feel like Casey's going to have more of an uphill battle this season than she's had her past two, but I'm glad to see her back and healthy. And I love her personality. Seeing what she did in the final, where she knew that she had no shot of winning anymore, and her leg was like falling off, and she's still trying to compete. We'll get into Fessy in a few moments, but complete 180 to Anissa. Definitely happy to see Casey back. It looks like she's found love this season, so I hopefully people stop calling her wallpaper. Hopefully this woman has a good season.
Some straight shit and find love. She found a warm body at the end of quarantine. All right, let's get that shit straight. She found a hot girl summer and called it a fucking day. She found a situationship or a showmance and said, screw it, let's give this a shot. Okay, no. But speaking of that, what we're referring to is Nani, because she's on the show this season. It's confirmed she's on the trailer and stuff like that. They are making out. Let's just see what happens, because everyone knows Nani is one drink away from having a memorable dumbass moment night where she just throw a couple of noodles on a type of shit. And it's one of those things you hate to see it. And then, because here's the thing, of course, we hate to see that because like it makes her look ridiculous. Then it's one of those things we hate to see her make excuses about it the next day instead of just manning up, which is what she does. She makes excuses about it the next day. And like with Anissa, the most mature things to do, I'm gonna forgive you and get over it so I can move forward and we can just get past this because it's not worth my damn time. And where in reality, it's like I had a bad night and I'm sorry. That's about it. That's all that honestly needs to be said. And you know what? It's just one of those things where it's like instead of coming out with a shit ton of excuses, yeah, like just man up and woman up, grow up and own your shit. We've all had those bad nights. I'm not gonna say I have. I've had drunk nights, but it's never been like I'm gonna throw it. It's mostly just me randomly awkwardly dancing, or just me going to sleep. Like there's been no like horrible drunken belligerent. I'm gonna make out with a chick and tell him I love him and slap a bitch. Like no, but everybody's had a bad night similar to that or close to that. Own up to it. Say what you mean and call it a motherfucker.
As someone who I mean, I never threw noodles at anyone, but someone who had plenty of bad nights in their 20s after a long night of merriment, you just kind of have to learn that you can, people are going to be talking about what you did either way, and you can own it and make it your story, or you can try to shrink away and deny it, and people are going to say whatever they want to about it. And Nani is like 31, 32 now. She's been on reality TV for a full decade. It's time for her to know that and just know people not only know she's messy, but they love messy Nani. People complain when Nani is boring on a season, when she behaves herself. People like fun, messy Nani. And, it's time to just for her to own that. And if she doesn't want that to be who she is, then she's got to dial that in and not get drunk and be sloppy. I will say, Nani's challenge career started pretty favorably. She did great. She almost made one final. She made it to another final and did well. She, I think, was only like 5 minutes behind Laurel or something to come in second for Free Agents. And then her career kind of tanked for several years. And then last season, we saw her finally make a final again for the first time in forever. It wasn't the best, but she made a final. She completed it without complaint. And hopefully that's lit a fire under her to, put her challenge career back in the right direction.
Right. And so we can only hope. We got fucking Josh on this season, bitch. We got CT. According to Angie, he looks really good and ripped, which is dope.
CT looks amazing. Like for someone who's 41 years old, CT looks incredible. And I know some people hate when people say that because it's like other people look good at 41. Like look at Darrell, look at this person, look at that person. I know, but when we went through depressed and dad bod CT for several seasons, and now this man is like almost in his Rivals 2 shape, like that's incredible. I don't know if maybe because his son is older now. His son should be about 5 or 6. Maybe it's, his son being bigger and they're going to the park or something. I don't know, but this man is in great shape, and I have to say, if they let him even sniff the final, all of these people deserve to lose. There's 34 people on this season. All 33 deserve to lose if they let CT in, because CT won 2 seasons as dad bod CT, where people were talking about how fat and out of shape the man was. And I mean, he was compared to his former physique. And last season he was slimmed up and just beasted that final. So their top priority should be getting this man out of the show. And if they don't, like, if we get to where we're covering the final and CT's in it, I'm going to go ahead and say CT is the male winner. Like, prove me wrong, someone. Like, I would give it to CT, unless he goes in injured or something. They need to get him out if they want to be champ.
You're completely 100% right. No one's going to argue.